Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Barber, the podcast where we talk all things beauty and barber industry, life, and everything in between.
My name is Martin Gonzalez,
My name is Blanca.
and today's topics will be about
The booking process, appointments, and pet peeves
stylist, barber
versus
versus
clients.
clients.
Okay, so let's start with what about booking apps? Do you have a booking app?
Do I have a booking app? No,
It's very controversial these days, I feel, the booking app.
it is.
Why don't you have a booking app?
Me personally, only because the experiences that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
where there's people that book, you know, a month in advance because for a particular reason they have a wedding to go to, okay, and I've seen it where a barber cancels that appointment because they decide maybe they want to go out of town. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it's not right. Why I don't have a booking app is because I only book within 2 weeks in advance,
Mm-hmm.
and I rather be in control of my life
Mm-hmm.
than the client actually controlling my life. You feel me? Does it make sense?
It makes sense, but I use a booking app now. I'm like going on a year or so into the booking app, and I actually like it because there's so many out there, but I can't agree with you on that because on the booking app that I use, it's like you can block yourself off for like certain weeks that you don't maybe want to do anything. And also, the way that I do it is I literally will still post like my appointments on Instagram, and I book um, the appointment for them.
Yeah, definitely. But exactly goes back to what I was saying. Like you have the app open for a month, but
Mm-hmm.
then within 3 weeks or a month, you decide to take a vacation and
Mm-hmm.
you cancel somebody's appointment. I think that's wrong.
No, but you can block it off like if you want to do week to week or whatever. Like during the holidays
Yeah,
sometimes or whatever, and when it's crazy, I've done like week to week, and it kind of works out for me. I like it because it sends them like a reminder. It'll send them like you have to confirm it, and that's happened to me where people end up canceling it and stuff, and it's like okay, well at least I know versus them like not showing up to their actual
no,
appointment.
definitely. I understand that. I definitely, it's there has its good and its bads.
Right.
Okay, now going back to clients. Okay, sometimes people book clients book for a haircut, but when they
Mm-hmm.
show up, so a haircut for me, I will put a 30 minute uh,
Time
time
slot.
time slot. Okay,
Yeah.
when they get to the barber chair, hey, can you hook my beard up? Okay, I said I can't because you didn't book it.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, but I really need it. So now you feel bad,
Mm-hmm.
and now you know you're backed up a little bit. So it has its good and it has its bads.
Yeah.
So that's why when I talk to them personally, do you want just a haircut or do you want a haircut and beard? You know?
So when you talk to them, so how do you book? Like they'll call you and they have to talk to you
Yeah,
or
they talk to me, and then I have a booking app, but that I control myself only.
okay.
Thanks to you that got me into that.
It's a calendar. That's
I
like a
love
booking
that.
calendar.
Man, that's the best thing I got introduced to.
I feel like booking apps though are more like when the client has access to book it themselves and book for whatever service they want. So my issue with the booking app, so I guess you could say I kind of have a booking app, but then at the same time I don't because the way that I do it is people were having meltdowns when I first put the like link out there. People had no idea. I had one person book for she literally just needed like her dark roots touched up, which is like an hour and 20-minute service. She literally booked herself for a bleaching service, which was like 3 hours. So could you imagine if she would have showed up and I would have been like, what? Like,
So it has its goods and its bads.
yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when I put the link out there, they were like, what do I book for again? And I was just kind of like, well, that kind of defeats my whole purpose because I wanted to cut out that whole back and forth, which is why I did the booking app, but it just was a no go because people have no idea what service to book for.
So now, like, okay, what about if you have like a space available, say 2 hour time slot, and you're about to kind of finish your client, and you have 2 hours, and a walk-in comes in.
Mm-hmm.
How would you work that?
I mean, if people want to wait and I can fit them in, for the most part, I think it's different for me because for us, it's like, like a chemical service. So you do have like a little bit of downtime where the hair is processing, where I'm able to kind of fit in something quick within like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whether it's like a haircut or like a solid retouch or something like that. I'm able to kind of like juggle the two clients at the same time. I know for you, it's different because you're working on one person that entire time. So,
Yeah. So the reason why my barbershops work on before this pandemic
mm-hmm,
worked all walk-ins. I was the only one, and maybe one other barber that worked on appointments.
mm-hmm.
But why people say, why don't you book in appointments? I said the reason why is because everybody in the barbershop knows how to cut, kind of like all similar. So
Mm-hmm.
the rotation goes fast, and that way you won't have to wait a long time. The only reason we did the appointments is because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We had to kind of keep everybody separated. But now, since it's kind of like, dissolving a little bit, now we take appointments. But at one barbershop, we charge $5,
For
for
appointment.
appointments, and we take walk-ins.
So how does that work? Like, what do you mean you charge for an appointment?
So how does it work?
Is it like a deposit, like where you're like, okay, it's $5 to save your spot, but and then when they come, like those $5 goes to the service or to the
No,
haircut,
so the
or
haircut's $30, and say for example their appointment's at 2 o'clock, and they come in at 1:55, and we're cutting somebody we're about to finish.
mm-hmm.
That saves their spot, that they will be next right after that haircut. So that saves
So,
their spot. So now the haircut's $30. It'll be, because we're saving that spot for them, it'd be $35. So
but it guarantees that you're gonna start them at 2 o'clock.
no, it guarantees that we're gonna save their spot. So for example, a lot of times our haircuts take less than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of know, okay, we're not going to start nobody if we have 5 minutes or 10
Mm-hmm.
minutes. You know what I mean? 5 or 10 minutes. We're not going to start nobody new.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's 15, 20 minutes, we will, because we can kind of finish the haircut. Okay. So if their appointment's at 2 o'clock, and say it's 2:05 or 2:10, that they're going to be next if
Mm-hmm.
there's people waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets them to like cut the line type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Cut the line.
I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me because I think if I had an appointment and I had to pay an additional $10 for like an appointment, then I would be like, well, is this $10 going to go towards my service? And then you're not even going to start me on time? Like, I don't
It's
know.
$5
I don't know how I feel about that.
because your system works different.
I think so.
Our barbershops, it's a lot different than
Yeah. But I mean, the reason why I do like deposits and stuff and it's definitely a little bit higher is because it's like a longer period of time.
yeah. So for example, there's your appointment's at 2 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
and we're about to finish somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 5 walk-ins.
Okay.
Okay,
So that just means that you're
that,
next.
that you will be next. The walk-ins have to wait a little bit.
Huh.
So it kind of like, you know what, it saves my spot. It saves my spot, that I will be guaranteed my haircut right after the next client, even though there's 5 other people waiting.
Yeah. Even though you're going to be a little late,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make sense.
And I know it doesn't make sense, but it makes a lot of sense. Trust me.
No, I get it. I guess for you guys it works.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is sometimes.
Does everybody do that or
No, just one shot. Yeah.
and
So
how do people feel about that? Cuz I feel like people would have a problem with that.
for $5, people are gonna complain for $5. Now, if it's $10, if it's we charge 30 and it's $10 for an appointment, I'll make sure I get you in that chair at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
no later than 2:05. So now, what about if the client's late?
Mhm.
If
Oh, yeah.
What about if the client's late? If it's 2:08,
Yeah.
2:10, like, okay, you know, you think he's gonna get it? You think we're gonna lose? We're gonna lose $40.
Well, not really because I feel like you wouldn't even wait. You would just be like, he's this late, like let me just take somebody else.
Yeah, we give him a 5-minute grace period. Like,
Mhm.
so I mean, it works. It's good and bad.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. So if you don't like to wait, you know, you will definitely get your spot right after the client that's sitting in the chair if your appointment's at a certain time.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
There's things that I dislike about walk-ins. Um, as a say, for example, as a client,
Yeah.
waiting for a long time. I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta wait. But the thing is, that's the thing about
Not making an appointment.
not making an appointment. But the thing about not making an appointment at my shops, the rotation just keeps going.
But
So
what if someone doesn't want?
as a walk-in, then we just wait. They'll wait. That's why.
Wow.
That's why if you want to pay $5 extra,
Mhm.
to be next after that cut, then
Mhm.
I'll pay $5.
So what if a client has an appointment with you? Like, how late is too late? Like, when will you absolutely be like, no?
That he's
Like,
showing up late. You mean?
yeah. Like, how late is too late? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
So if I'm done, so for example, it's his appointment's at 2 o'clock, and I'm done with the client at 2:05, and I give him like a 5 to 10 minute grace period. You feel me?
Mhm.
Because
So after 10 minutes, it's like a no go.
yes,
Like at that point,
yeah, it's a no go. I got to move on to the next person.
yeah.
I've gotten into, I've lost clients. I've gotten into little
Because of that.
discussions because of that. Because I had a client show up 20 minutes late,
Yeah.
and I took another client, and they got mad at me because his appointment was at 10, but he showed up at 6:20. So he, I guess, expected me to wait 20 minutes. Well,
Yeah.
and I
No.
don't charge, like me. I don't charge for appointments
Uh huh.
where I work at the new shop.
Mhm.
You feel me? So that's where I come in. That's where I take advantage of the walk-in.
Mhm.
And if he walks in late, he has to wait till it's his turn. You feel me? Just because he made an appointment doesn't mean that he's gonna be next because he's not paying me. You
Mhm.
understand?
So since we're saying like pet peeves, that just made me think of like that happens. I hate when people when people will like text me like oh say their appointment's at 2 o'clock and they're like it's 2:15 and they're like, hey, I'm gonna be late like 10 minutes and I'm like, you're already late 15 minutes. Like
But
what you mean
but you
you're
know
gonna
what?
be late?
On top of
You're
that,
already
they
late.
don't even bring no Starbucks
Oh my god, that's the worst when they
or no
walk in with
Dunkin'
Starbucks.
Donuts.
I'm like, if you're gonna be late and walking in with Starbucks, you better have a Starbucks for me,
Because that
cause,
from you, I understand that. I understand the
cause we
what was
about
it?
to stay here for 3 hours.
Yeah. So, but the good thing about it that we asked questions on Instagram.
We did.
You know, that
We
was
did an
that was cool.
Instagram poll. Let me grab it. So our Instagram poll was, what was our question? We said we asked two questions. We asked our fellow stylist and barber friends to tell us what their pet peeves are when it comes to, clients and booking process and appointments. And this is what they said. We're going to start off with the first one and it is someone said I can relate to this one. It says, when you have a detailed list and the client asks for something that isn't on there.
So, what do you mean by a detailed list?
So I think this is more for us because um I don't feel like you guys just kind of have like a basic thing, right? That you guys do
So you calling us
or
basic?
appointment, yes.
It's all good.
Or no, not even. It's for you guys too
No, yeah.
because have you ever had I feel like we've had this conversation where a client is like, especially me, I always complain to you about this when I post my availability on my story and I said, "Hey guys, I have Monday, December 2nd, whatever, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. available." And then someone never fails. Someone will ask me, like DM me and be like, hey, do you have 6 p.m.? And I'm just kind of like,
So
huh?
so basically, you set your time list, time schedule on Instagram.
Yes,
Okay.
for the most part. But there's always or even when you, in texting or when they call you, don't you hate that when you're like, when they're like, hey, what do you have available? And you're like, I have 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And they're like, oh, you don't have six?
Well, first of all, I don't believe in texting because to me, I'm losing I'm losing the attention. I mean, my clients losing my attention if I go back and forth because the thing is, for example,
Your
going to what you
client
say,
who? The one that you're working
the
on?
one I'm working on.
Okay.
That's why I don't believe in.
Well, yeah, but you can always like go back to it.
Yeah, but I, what about when we forget? Have you forgotten about a text
I
or someone?
mean, yes,
Okay,
but that's why I made it a point on the weekends and when I'm not at work, I will not open my text messages because I will forget to
so
reply.
me personally, I don't believe in text me for an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Call me better
Mm-hmm.
because there's times that I get busy and I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So when people call you and they say, "Hey, do you have this time?" or "How do you go?" Like, don't you hate when they do that though? When they call you and they're like, "Hey, can I make an appointment?" and you're like, "Okay, I have 12 o'clock and 12:30. Which time do you want?" and they're like, "Oh, you don't have five?"
no,
Like, does it bother you?
no, because when they call me, I say, what what type of appointment would you like? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
around what time? Give me a specific time and I'll work around you.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you give me 1 o'clock and I don't have 1 o'clock, I say I'll have 12 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
So that's happened to me though. When I go back and forth with them, they're like, I can do Monday at between this time and this time, and I'll be like, okay, well, can you do 12:30? And they're like, oh, actually, no. Can I do this instead? And I'm just kind of like,
yeah, I had one the other day where somebody said, "Can you schedule me for an appointment on, for example, Friday? What time? Oh, whatever time you want." So okay, all right,
right,
cool. I'll put you down at 2 o'clock. Oh, I can't do it at 2 o'clock because
yes,
so yeah,
that's the worst. I hate that. I guess we all have that,
yeah, it happens.
huh? So then, oh my gosh, this is basically going off kind of like what we were talking about. It says when clients don't ask for a specific time and day, they just ask if you have appointments available.
Yeah,
That's literally what we just
we
said.
just kind of talked
Just
about.
give me any time. And
Give
then
me
you
any
give them a
time.
time and never mind. Can I do 5 o'clock? And the next one was when clients book and wait to change their appointment 2 to 3 days later, but you're already booked. So, how do you guys deal with that?
So, um, well, I mean, I don't have nothing. I mean, you, I can't. If I'm booked up, I don't have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand people's situations because maybe certain things came up. Could be family issue but if it's just because they're not going to tell you the real reason why they want to
Mm-hmm.
change it. So, I mean, at least they can tell you a lie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be a good lie. Can't be,
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it doesn't matter. I don't, if I have it open, available, I don't mind, switching it. To me, it doesn't matter.
I mean, for me, it's a big deal because now you're like, I have my entire week planned already. Each client is like, 2 to 3 hours, maybe four, five. So now you're asking me to go from this day to the next day. And now I'm just kind of like, no, like there's no way.
So if you had it available, like say they wanted 3 o'clock and it was going to take you from 3 to 4 on
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, and they wanted to change it till Friday, and you have it available,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't change it.
I would, but then it's still annoying because I
Why?
already have like my things posted up or people ask for it or
So basically, you're going to tell them that you don't have it.
no, I mean if I have it I'll take it, but it still annoys me.
That's interesting. It's pretty interesting.
Because they move. I have clients that have asked me like 2 days before, like, this is why it bothers me because if you ask me for an appointment Monday at 2 o'clock and then now you're telling and I have everything's filled, right? My whole Monday's filled. I'm booked back to back to back. And now you're going to ask me for Friday at 2 o'clock. That's fine. I can move you. But now I'm annoyed because it's Sunday or Saturday. And on Monday, now I have a big gap from 2 to 5. You get what I'm saying? That's why it's like a pet peeve of mine for clients to move around like that, like 2 days prior or something like
So if
that.
it annoys you, you should then you don't have it available. Don't.
No, because now I'm still trying to fill, my book, but it's just kind of like now you're throwing me off because now I have a huge gap on Monday?
But let's just go make that Monday a Tuesday because you don't work Mondays.
Okay, but
So
it's
no,
just an
no, no, yeah,
example.
no, yeah, because from Monday to okay, I get you.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about you're telling me, say you text me on Saturday and you're like, hey, I can't really make it to my appointment on Monday at 2 o'clock, you're literally letting me know 2 days before, which is, I mean, it's okay
But
because it's time or whatever. And thank God that I do get pretty booked up that if I post it, someone will take it. It's just annoying having to go back and move you around and trying to fill that spot.
that
Like,
goes back to like
it's a
maybe
whole
it was an
process.
emergency. Going back to maybe
Sometimes, I mean,
so.
you never know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
People will fucking lie through their teeth.
yeah, but sometimes we can't like I guess because we don't know the situation.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully they're telling us the truth.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad situation.
Yeah.
But if it is, it's understandable.
No,
So
for sure. But at the same time, it's like respect my time and my profession and don't move around so much because now you're fucking with my money and my
so
time.
now if it was a one time thing, it would bother.
For me, it kind of happens a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So on to the next one.
When a client asks to book an appointment within 5 minutes.
Damn.
Damn.
That must be for you because I don't know. I don't really have space like
Well,
that.
I'm gonna say like within 10 minutes, not 5 minutes, because you know what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, it's all the same. Um, would it bug me? No, it doesn't bug me because a lot of times they might say, you know what, I'm around the neighborhood.
True.
I'm around the neighborhood. I'm down the street, and
And maybe you're not doing
maybe
anything that day.
I'm not doing nothing.
You're not booked
Maybe
up.
it's slow.
Yeah.
An extra $30, and an extra $30, and if the client tips, cool. But I'm gonna feel that slot. You feel me?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or maybe it depends. Maybe the person that sent that is like, maybe they came at them wrong. Like, hey, you
yeah,
have to fit me in within these next 5 minutes. Like, this is the only time. Like,
yeah. I mean,
I think it just depends.
depends
Depends
who it
on
is.
how they come at you too.
It also depends on the client. What type of
Mm-hmm.
client is he? Is he a client that's always like too cool with you? Say for example, he gives you a $10, $20 tip.
Mm-hmm.
If he's cool, the tip doesn't really matter. It's just the client being cool, like
Yeah.
or he's one of those clients that just say he's made appointments and he hasn't showed up like 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
So
gonna be
that
like no.
so yeah, I don't mind on that.
Yeah, that's true.
What about have you had clients with dirty scalps?
Yeah. Is that someone said that? That's their pet peeve?
Yeah,
Dirty
barber.
scalp? A barber said that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like that can't be your pet peeve. You're in the hair industry. Like, maybe he's new or something because I've been dealing with that shit for years and it is what it is. It's my job. It's part of my job.
yeah. I mean, like, have you ever had a client with like I don't know? They said like little animals. What are they called?
Lice?
Lice.
Yeah.
I've never seen lice. Trust me, I went to a barber school in South Central.
I saw lice when I was in beauty school.
Oh damn! So what happens there?
I mean, not in beauty school. So at the time when I was in beauty school, I was working at a school. So part of my job at the school was to like, pull the kids to the side and like read with them, in their little reading table and stuff like that. This was before COVID, obviously. That shit would never fly now. But you do like little one-on-one reading with them. And she was like reading, little I'm like super tall and like little kids are little. So she was like reading like this and looking down, and I kind of like glanced at her like hairline because I saw like something moving and I was like, what the fuck? And I told the teacher right away. I was like, hey, I was like, I think, she has lice or whatever. And she's like, are you sure? And I was like, I'm in beauty school right now and we just went over this chapter. I was like, I'm 90,000% sure there's lice in there. So she sent the little girl to the office. The next day when I came in, half of the class was gone because everyone got checked and they all had lice.
Man, I've had people like going with a lot of grease in their hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard.
I was going to say that. Does it make your job
It
harder?
makes it harder, but I can't put it as much detail as I want to.
Mm-hmm.
To the haircut. Thank God it's just one size all the way around. Like for example, when people go in with gel,
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind because to me that's an advantage because I can see the way they style their hair.
True.
So that sometimes if you just come to me with gel one time, I can see how
Yeah.
you style hair, how you style your hair. I can, man, that haircut for me will come out like a lot more to where he wants it, because a lot of times when they don't come in, for example, like an undercut where they want, like, I have a friend, like back in the days, James, he always wanted an undercut. So,
Mhm.
um, I didn't know how to like cut it because, when he had an undercut, I didn't know how to style. I don't know how I was gonna style it. But then when he came in one time with styled, I already knew. I'm like, oh, okay, now I
So it's
know.
kind of like a little like preview, like
Yeah, yeah. So that
guideline
was
type of
cool though. Yeah.
thing.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. Um, what about like, do you have like clients with bobbleheads
Oh my gosh,
where you're
yes.
like blow drying and they go back like,
I think this is every stylist, every barber, every makeup artist, like pet peeve. This is one of the top 5 for sure. Bobbleheads, bobblehead clients.
yeah. I've had, man, I had bobbleheads like you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do you do in that situation? Do you
So
talk to them or what?
I just kind of like not very aggressively or anything, but I'll just very firmly be like, I won't say anything. I'll just push their head back to where I want the head to face, or you know.
So you don't tell them nothing? Like,
No, I will just grab their head and like push it, like not aggressively, but like I'll just place it back. I have clients that I'll be sitting there foiling them, and they will literally try to look at me when they're talking the entire time, and I'm just like, and then I feel like after a while they get it. Like after one or two times they understand, like, okay, let me just, or I'll just, I mean, I will. Sometimes I'll be like, just keep your head straight, or
you don't tell them why?
I'm pretty sure they know why. I'm working on their hair, so I'm pretty sure.
Okay, like me, for example, like like I would tell them why. For example, blow drying. You
Mhm.
know, it's because I'm trying to style your hair.
Mhm.
If you keep bobbling, it's like it's not giving me the right look I want.
Right.
For example, like clippers is like, okay, for example, I call it bobblehead too. When you're chewing gum, your temple moves,
Oh,
and you're
yeah,
trying to give them a
yeah.
skin fade.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. So
Yeah.
I personally, I will let them know right away.
Like
You
don't
know,
do this
you
because
know.
XYZ.
And now, if it keeps happening, it might get to me, but I'll, say I'm like, I'll tell them again, and then like you said, I'll put their head in place,
Mhm.
or I'll hold, their head,
Mhm. On
put my
top.
head, my hand on top, but I will let them know,
This
so
is
yeah.
why I don't do kids haircuts, because kids are the number one bobbleheads ever. And I'm pretty aggressive when it comes to kids. I'll be like, if you move, your haircut's gonna look like this, and then they're like, like no.
Let me take it a little bit back, okay? Do you feel that, or it's up to everybody, of course, but do you feel that every stylist barber should have an app?
An app?
Yeah,
No, I think just do whatever works best for you.
pretty cool, like that. Just
Do you think they should?
no, I don't.
You don't think anyone should?
No, no, it's actually worked really fine for me. Uh, you call me, I look to see what's available. I book you in, and because the thing is, like, I don't know. It's worked fine for me. It's
Right.
worked. I've
So
been
that's what
cutting
works best.
34 years. Works best for me,
Right.
and
And
it's
maybe the app works best for me.
yeah,
It's just different times, different,
yeah, yeah, definitely. So
Mhm. So
now,
what did our clients say was their pet peeves about us? Dun dun
hmm,
dun.
they always probably talk crap about us, but you know what?
They love us. They still come back
They
to
still come back.
us.
You know,
Okay, so at the top of the list was punctuality.
punctuality.
Mhm.
It's never gonna happen.
Well, see, this is why when you said about, going back to the whole thing about $5 more for an appointment, and I said, "Okay, but does that guarantee that you're going to start them at a certain time?" And you were like, "No."
When you go to the doctor,
Oh, never.
and you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars.
You're right.
Okay, then $5. Come on.
You're
I'm just.
right.
So that's it. It just solves the problem right there.
I
You
know,
know.
but you know what? There's times when I'm running late and I have to just tell people. I mean, I always lie. I'm always like,
But why do you
I'm
lie?
like, hey, just give me like 10 minutes. And I'm barely freaking washing the hair. And I'm like, well, it's going to take like another 30 minutes, but I'm not going to tell you that because then you're going to be pissed off at me.
It happens. I
So I'd
mean,
rather you just be pissed off at me as time goes by
But
because you're still gonna sit in my chair anyway. I'm still gonna do your hair,
and
so
that's probably honestly that person that that's probably that person that you're running late on, that probably shows up late, or has
sometimes,
been
huh?
late to
But
you.
you know what? In my defense, it's not my fault that I'm late sometimes because if somebody shows up like 5 minutes, even 5 minutes late, it just fucking bumps everybody down. It sets me back, like, I shit you not, like 15 minutes. The whole day I'm like behind 15 minutes just for those 5 minutes that this
No,
person.
definitely,
So,
definitely.
I mean, it's not my fault, guys.
What's next?
It's your guys' fault. Next is, ooh, this is a good one. Tips. How much and is a tip expected? This is super controversial, actually.
Go ahead.
We've
I'm ready.
had
I'm ready to talk about
conversations about
this.
this. What do you, is it? What do you think?
To me, tips. Let's get more comfortable, because I'm ready to talk about this. I know barbers that get mad when they don't tip. Okay,
When they don't get tips.
when they don't get tips. When they don't get tips. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's not something that's mandatory. A
Mm-hmm.
tip it's maybe, like I say, it's a blessing. For example, um, I have clients that don't tip,
Mm-hmm.
but they come every week. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they come every week. Okay, I have clients that come every week and tip
Mm-hmm.
$20. Okay, um, now I know people that actually gotten that get mad because a client doesn't tip. I'm sorry, but you can't expect a tip. You know. Now anybody who tips, say $5 for us, it's a decent tip. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cool tip. $10 is better. $20 is like, damn, that's great. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody that tips, say, I'm gonna be honest, 10 and above, they're gonna get a little extra. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get a little extra, maybe showing up a little late, whatever. Like
And you'll let
you
them
know,
slide.
definitely, you know, um, anybody who doesn't tip and that comes to me consistently and might be showing up, here and there a little late,
Mm-hmm.
is cool, you know. So, but to me, does not bother me at all. How about you?
It doesn't bother me either. And you know what's crazy? Like, I follow this hairdresser. I can't remember her name. I would have put her on blast, but I
I'm
can't.
blessed in a good way or
I
bad
mean,
way?
I would have said who said it because that's her opinion, but she posted it, She said, "If you don't have money for a tip, don't go to restaurants and eat. Don't get
Oh,
your nails
you were telling
done.
about
Don't
that.
get your hair done. Don't get your
That's
makeup done."
horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Not everybody has a
The
tip.
extra.
Somebody wants a haircut and a beard done, and all they have is $40. It's
Yeah,
like, man,
I agree.
So
Yeah, no, for me either. Tips are never expected. It's always, I've had people that like they forget to tip me and they'll text me like, a few minutes later and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like I didn't tip you. Like, I'll get you next time, like double, whatever." And I'm just kind of like, "Oh my God, like no, like it's kind of like embarrassing. I feel like embarrassed. Like I want to tell them like, "No, like it's okay." Like, and I always tell them that I'm like, "It's totally fine." And I always say, like, a tip is never expected, but always appreciated. Like.
this one might not go towards you. The reason why is because your processes are a lot longer than ours,
Mm-hmm.
but we've probably had this problem where we don't skip people, but people think we skip them.
Mm-hmm.
Skipping, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, okay, at since we do walk-ins,
Mm-hmm.
we'll tell them, they come in, they'll ask us how long is the wait. We'll tell them about 30 minutes. They're like, all right, I'll be back in 15, 20 minutes. All right, cool, no problem. We'll have you in line because we write everybody down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A client shows up while that client that came in left. He shows up. So I mean, in his head, he's assuming that he's next.
Right.
But we tell him it's about, a certain amount of time, or there's this many people ahead of you. Okay. Well, the client returns, and we finished the client that we were cutting, so we take the client that returned. But the client that came later,
Mhm.
he got mad and he started, you know, doing his fist, like this. And we're like, what is
Are
that?
you
Like, so
serious?
yeah. So we kind of explained to him the situation that we
Yeah.
told him it was going to be a certain amount of time. Well, this client, wait. So we told him to come back. So this client actually left. Okay.
Mhm.
This client left, and the client that was next, they knew each other. So
Mm.
when that client that we hooked up met with the other client,
Mhm.
told him the situation,
Mhm.
what happened, but maybe I think that other client didn't return because he felt what guilt, or because he felt like embarrassed now.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That
So
he
because
made a big
made a
deal
big deal over
about
that.
getting skipped when he
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah. So
skipped.
he didn't skip. Like, I think that people got to understand that
Mhm.
I know there's barbers out there that actually skip people
Mhm.
because of
They're
he
friends.
or going back to the $20 tip. But I feel
Yeah.
that's not right. You don't do that.
Yeah,
You don't do
no.
that. So
I mean, it's like how you said, it's not something that's something that I've done to people or that happens a lot in the salon, but I mean, I see it and I've experienced it when I go to get my nails done. Like that's how they are too. Like sometimes I walk in and I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and then I'll see like two people walk in and then they get to sit. They're like, "Oh, hey, they get to sit right away," and I'm just kind of like, but yeah, I get it. Like it's probably because, they had an appointment or whatnot.
so
So,
now
I mean, I never say anything, obviously, because I'm in the service industry. So I understand. Like, I've gone to nail salons where my nail lady is like back to back. And if it's my turn next, I see that she's like, tired and stuff. And I'll tell her, you know what? Go and eat, and then I will continue waiting for you. One time I used to get my nails done with this lady like years ago, and it was like during the holidays and it was so busy, and you could tell that she was like tired. You could just tell, you could see it, and it was late already. So I waited for 40 minutes for her because I didn't have an appointment. That was my bad because I'm terrible at making appointments for these types of things. I never have time, so I just kind of have to go as like a walk-in, like, because I
hmm,
don't have time. So it's just whenever I have the time, I waited for her for like 45 minutes. And when I got to her, she was like, she had like her food right there, or like the microwave beeped or something in the back. And then like someone said something to her, and I just looked at her and I was like, go eat. I was like, I will wait for you. Like, go ahead. Like, it's fine.
okay, now this one's gonna be good. Okay, have you ever have you ever had like a client or heard of clients say that the barber or the stylist acts too important?
Yes. It especially I feel like this day and age, um, the whole barber like scene got kind of blown up a lot, I think. And I see it a lot more in barbers. I see it in stylists too, but not as
So
much.
you think because this guy has 500,000 followers
Yeah.
and this guy has 4,000 followers, that guy's more important than this guy?
He's not, but he's going to act like it and people are going to treat him like it. And his work probably sucks.
And he's probably out there doing like maybe, which I respect him, like maybe 1 2 haircuts, and he's making a good living out of it. You
Mhm.
feel me? So, and this guy, they're always saying that this guy, the barber that's not only has 4,000 followers, he's acting conceited or whatever, or he thinks he's too important because he's booked up. He's basically just working, like he's
Mhm.
practicing his craft every half an hour, every hour.
Mhm.
So I don't, I don't, I guess I can't not believe that a barber is um, too important
Mhm.
because everybody has their way of working. You feel me?
Yeah.
If I'm booked up and somebody calls me and says I really need this appointment because I got a party, I go, well, you know what? When did you know about this party?
Mhm.
You knew, about maybe a couple days in advance. So to me, it's like I'm I'm not I'm important. To the people that actually made the appointment. I'm
Will you take them though if they're like, "Hey, can you stay after hours and I'll give you 50 extra dollars?"
$50 extra on top of that, I'll
Yeah.
definitely stay that. Now, if I don't have nothing to do, you know, but
Okay.
if I don't have nothing to do, yeah, definitely. If you give me $50 extra, but then
Uh-huh.
again, it's happened where the person says, "I'll take care of you," and
And then they
they
don't?
don't. The haircut's $30, and they give you, $35.
$35? Oh,
So
hell
yeah, so
no. So maybe they have to give you like an exact amount. I would if they told me exactly how much extra I'm getting, I'd be like, okay, maybe.
yeah. See, like clients, like uh, the next thing I'm gonna say or topic I'm gonna say,
Mhm.
clients like that, you know, it's cool because clients like this, we start a good vibe, we start a good conversation, um, you know, it's good because they don't mind going in there because they know I'm gonna go get a haircut and I don't have nothing to do later on, so I'm gonna go and chill out. As a walk-in, he
Mhm.
doesn't mind waiting. You feel me?
Mhm.
So to you, it's probably different.
Mhm.
To you, it doesn't. It's probably different. But what about for a stylist that works walk-ins only?
Mhm. What about?
How would it work for them? Like somebody who's a new stylist
Mhm.
and is pretty good and trying to build the clientele, and all they do is deal with walk-ins.
Well, I used to work like that years ago.
There you go.
So, I mean, it works, but then it doesn't because it was a lot of sitting around sometimes, you know?
But was it well worth it?
Well, now fast
Amen.
forward
Amen.
10, 11 years. Yeah, of
And
course.
cutting 34 years, I still do it.
Yeah.
Especially when I moved from my second shop to the
Mhm.
newest shop, you know, say cutting, just say for example, just cutting 100 clients a week
Mhm.
to go into a new shop and now you're only cutting 25 people.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who has a positive and a mental strong mind, I'm not saying it's me, but I guess I could talk about me. I've sat around.
I'm not saying it's me, but it's me.
But no, I'm not saying I'm conceding now. Going back to barber acting important, you know what? But people will tell you, like people will tell you, like like for example, I give like Philly props, where he's gone from making a certain amount to leaving and now coming to the new shop, and I respect the dude because
Who's Philly?
Philly or Philly at his Instagram. I don't even know his Instagram.
Oh, but he
Yeah,
works with
yeah,
you.
he works for me.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so he left when he left the shop he's at, and I left this. Now I was just sitting around, waiting on new
Mhm.
clients. The thing is that I think sometimes you need new people in your life.
Oh, for
You feel
sure.
me? You know, people that are gonna respect your value.
Yeah.
I only charge $30, but my value is as high as the person that charges $100. You
Yeah.
feel me? I'm probably
Or your work is probably better than someone who
you know
charges $100.
I mean, I know people that charge, $30 that are way better than people that charge, 60, 80, $100,
Mhm.
and they do it twice as fast,
Mhm. What
for
about like house calls? Is house calls like worth it for you? Do you
house
do?
calls. I used to do house calls. Um, I won't do house calls no more. Unless you're talking about you're going to pay me for my day. Because, for example, you want me to talk about it first or you want to go first?
Go for it.
Okay. I
Cuz
did
I
it.
won't do house calls.
I did it for a long time. Um, I don't call myself a celebrity barber,
Mhm.
even though I cut celebrities now and I have cut before. I don't
Mhm.
call myself a celebrity barber. I'm just a barber. I'm a barber like anybody else.
That's my pet peeve. Let me throw that in there real quick. People who call themselves celebrity stylists, celebrity barbers. Like you're just a barber, you're just a stylist.
you know, I don't do it no more. Reason why? Because say I charge $100 for a haircut. Okay,
Mhm.
you got to drive over there. You got to take your tools out. Okay, they're gonna sit in a regular chair. You know, or if you bring your own chair, that's more stuff you're bringing. Okay, on top of that, they're trying to eat and they got people around them. They're trying to
Mm.
talk, and so now you're talking about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay, in those 3 hours, I could have made to 30, 60, 60, 120, $200. $200. I could have made
Mhm.
$200.
At the shop.
At the shop.
And you didn't even have to
And I didn't
leave.
even have to leave. Okay, okay. So there's another person that I used to do house calls for. I
Mhm.
wouldn't charge this person. He's a boxer. he's up there. He's
Mhm.
sponsored by Golden Boy, but I wouldn't charge him because maybe one day I was crossing my fingers that he would put my logo on the shorts.
Mm.
It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
just a small logo. It doesn't matter. But it didn't happen.
Mhm.
So I had my hopes up high that it would happen, but then he moved further away, and then he stopped coming. He would come maybe here and there, but he stopped coming. Um, and then a few times he made an appointment to come over here, and he never showed up, so he canceled.
Mm.
So to me, I don't believe in doing house calls unless you're paying me for my day. But then
True.
again, it's tiring.
You know what? You're right because when I do weddings, like updos and styling like that, that's literally what it is. I get I think going somewhere, it's like how you said, like people are like eating and getting up, and you're just kind of like standing around waiting for them. Although you do charge, a little bit more than what you would charge at the salon because you are coming to them and it's for their convenience. You do get a lot, you get tired, you get exhausted. I get really exhausted when I go do weddings. I'll book myself out the rest of the
But
day.
is it fun?
It's fun. I just have to make sure that it's like how you said, I guess the beauty about me is that I can like adjust my pricing to make what I would have made in a day at the salon for like an updo styling situation. And that's why when I do house calls like that, it has to be 4 people or more. It has to be worth my time because I get so exhausted, so many different personalities, and like how you said, people are constantly like getting up and like, let me go grab this real quick, or let me go give my mom her shoes, let me go give my daughter this. It's a lot. It takes a toll on your body because you don't have your proper chairs and things like that. So yeah, that makes sense. But I
That's
think for
cool.
me it's a little easier though because I'm able to adjust these things.
So now, are they good experiences or bad experiences? Have
uh,
you had, no have you had good experiences and have you had bad
I
experiences?
have had bad experiences
Just
and good experiences, but I mean,
which is the best one you've had, the good one?
I don't know. I
Did you
don't
ever
know.
have you ever like cut like at a mansion or something like that? Like.
Oh, I did. I remember now. You just reminded me. I actually got to work with a makeup artist. Her name is Shayna.
You remember her
I
Instagram?
think her name's Shayna. Sheena?
Shayna.
I think it's Shayna.
Yeah.
Um you referred her to me because her husband was your client, and she does makeup. She does amazing beautiful makeup, and she actually hired me to work a wedding with her and like a bunch of other makeup artists and stylists because it was like a big group, and I got to do hair at the Houdini mansion, and that was pretty
Damn.
dope. Honestly, yeah, that was one of my favorite locations cuz the location was like amazing.
Bad experiences.
Bad
But it's got to be
experience.
good though.
I'm trying to think. I mean, you deal with a lot of people, especially if it's like most of them are like weddings or quinces. Um, I think a lot of it is like not necessarily the bride, but there's always like a momzilla or like a bridesmaidzilla that will,
Bridezilla.
or even with quinces, there's always like a mom that will be like, I want you to do this, this, and that. And you're just like, okay. And then the daughter's just kind of like sitting there and she hates what you're doing because she just wants like a loose curl or something. And then the mom wants like a full blown peinado. So she's pissed off half the time. And it's a lot because I do try to like go in there and mediate and like give, the quinceañera what she wants. But then mom's paying me. So I'm trying to give her what she wants. So it's a lot of like convincing, like, hey, what if we do this instead? And that way you can both be happy and things like that. Um, Sometimes there's mother-in-laws that want to look better than the bride, and they just act funky, like you could just see it, or I don't
Well,
know.
that was our podcast for the day.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for all of your Instagram replies that we got for our poll. Let us know if you want us to do more, what you guys want to talk about, if you have any questions,
comments.
concerns.
Uh, What
complaints
else?
about
Complaints,
Martin.
complaints about Blanca. I mean, you're always gonna hear complaints about me. So it doesn't matter. Do I care? Yes, I do care because
I
I
like how you ask and you answer your own questions.
well, yeah. I mean, because you know you have to. You sometimes you got to ask yourself the question that you want to answer. Don't you do that yourself?
No, I
Well, well, make sure you
don't.
subscribe and follow us and whatever else.
Like, subscribe, follow.
You know, make sure you follow Getting Faded at Getting Faded,
Make sure you
and
follow Hair Hustling at Hair Hustling Inc.
make sure you follow at Getting Faded Barbershop.
And make sure you follow at the Hair Bee because that's where I post a lot of the questions.
And of course, last but not least, make sure you follow us at the Beauty. No, no, no. Start over at Beauty and the
And the
Barber
barber.
LA.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
See you
guys
guys
next
next
time.
time. West Side.